NVIDIA soars to new highs just ahead of earnings. Just how high could it go in the next week? Here to break it all down for us is market beat analyst Thomas Hughes. Thomas, let's start with just how high NVIDIA's stock went just last week.
Well, last week it broke above a critical resistance target. That was the previous all-time high, right around 141, and then it continued to move higher. So it gained about 6 or 7% by the end of the week. But the critical detail is that it broke above a trading range. It broke above a previous high as a significant resistance point, which indicates that the trend is still up. I would expect to see the stock continue to rise over the next week going into the earnings report. The earnings report very well could be a strong catalyst for bigger gains over the next 2 to 3 quarters.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement and a lot of talk around NVIDIA that happens every time their earnings report comes up. Now, one thing I want to point out is last time we were talking about NVIDIA's earnings report, everyone was waiting for that report to come, and then the stock price fell immediately after earnings report. Are we expecting or anticipating anything like that surrounding this earnings?
I think it would be safe bet to assume that there will be a price pullback after that. There's a lot of sentiment and euphoria driven or embedded in the NVIDIA price. So even with a good report, there's probably going to be some profit taking. But any dip that forms would be a likely buying or entry point for new money for new investors, both for short-term trades and for long-term investments.
So let's talk about getting in for those traders who are looking to make a profit off of some of the swings that are going to be happening with NVIDIA this week and next week. Where's a good entry point?
Well, right now, the 141 level looks like a pretty solid entry point. That is our resistance target, the previous high that was broken last week. The market is moving up from that level, but technical theory says that the market is likely to pull back and retest for support. It could pull back as far as that 141 level. If it were to touch to that level, I would expect to see a pretty strong confirmation from the market that that is a buying opportunity.
As far as wanting to get out and make that short-term profit, what price target would you be looking for?
In the near term, a 10 to 20% gain would be pretty easy. That aligns with the general trend of analyst revisions. But over the long term, I would say there's a good 30% upside from that previous high because of the revision trends and because I would expect to see the revision trend continue to be positive over the coming quarters.
Now, if you're looking to stay in NVIDIA or to get in on more NVIDIA, maybe when it has one of those dips coming up in the stock, what are some indicators and some talk right now about positive signs for long-term NVIDIA growth? There's been a lot of discussion around Blackwell and just on their really solid revenue happening right now.
Well, right now it's coming down to the hyperscalers. Microsoft, Amazon, and Google are all investing big dollars into their data center infrastructure, and most of that money is flowing to NVIDIA. We can see some of that flow going through Taiwan Semiconductors, who posted a pretty significant revenue increase. They make the bulk of NVIDIA chips. So right now, this is a systemic issue that we're watching. The system is focused on NVIDIA's chips, but it's being driven by all of the big major mega tech companies, even Meta, Oracle, all the big guys that are building their data centers are all relying real heavily on NVIDIA chips.
So what's the longer term target for NVIDIA's stock price moving forward?
Well, right now we have the analysts and the technical indicators kind of confirming or agreeing together for the 190 to 200 range. So that's right in line with the 30 to 35% gain I was talking about before.
So a good long-term future, but in the short time, it feels like there could be some risk with that earnings report still coming out. What's the risk for people looking at this as a short-term trade right now?
Well, the risk is that the report will be underwhelming. So there is a lot of expectation baked into the report. Analysts have been raising their estimates. The bar has been set pretty high. But with such demand, there's possible that the pipeline of chips isn't able to support how much demand there is. So the report really could be underwhelming, and that is a big risk for the stock price.
That's definitely what we saw at last earnings report. We'll see if this one could be any different. Thomas, thank you so much for your analysis today. You can find more NVIDIA news coverage right here on MarketBeat Media. Check out our other NVIDIA videos right here on our channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy investing.